I've got my CRM that does all of this fancy stuff, I've got my AMS that's now starting to do all this fancy stuff. I've got my phone system that's starting to do all this fancy stuff. How the hell do I know where to go to do all this fancy stuff?
That's a great question. It's something that I struggle with on a daily basis.
Hey guys, this is Billy Williams with the Fix My Insurance Agency podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Today I'm really excited to have our guest. Communication is such an important part of what we do. Hell, it's everything that we do, right? If we really think about it. And so whenever we teach follow-up communication or tracking your communication, we use a very simple acronym, PETS, P-E-T-S. Take care of your pets. Phone, email, text message, and social networking. If you're connected with the person, it's a direct message. If you're not connected with them, it might be a tag or a hashtag or something like that. But we want to always take care of our pets. That's a great way of following up. So without me jumping in and telling you who he is, I'm going to let the man, the myth, the legend tell you himself who he is and what company he's with. So, Steve, it's your show, baby. Do your thing.
Absolutely. See that? You say it enough and it happens, right? No, so I appreciate that. Steve Mohr with Lightspeed Voice, VP of Sales and Marketing over here. So, been in the insurance game with whether it's with agencies or technology, et cetera, for more years than I like to admit. But excited to be here. I've been with Lightspeed for about a year and a half now. We got a lot of great stuff going on and just kind of capitalizing on their previous successes and just continuing to grow. So, I love the acronym, the PETS, and the great thing is that we can nail pretty much all those things for you. So looking forward to the conversation.
Good. Yeah, I have to use acronyms because I'm not very smart, So, hell, my parents named me Billy Williams. They gave me the same name twice because they knew I wasn't going to be that smart, right?
That's right.
So
That's right.
So I have to use acronyms. I have to do things like that to help me remember. But I found that most people are not as smart as they think they are. So The acronyms help a lot.
Absolutely.
Now, jumping right in, because I'm not one of those. I know a lot of podcast people like to talk and chat and do. I'm not that guy. Okay.
You don't want to know about my kids? Come on now. No.
Yeah, I like to jump right in. So the name of my podcast is Fix My Insurance Agency, right? Fix My Insurance Agency. What does Lightspeed do to fix the problems that are in insurance agency? Let me reword that question. Number one, what are the problems that Lightspeed sees? And number two, how does Lightspeed help fix those problems?
Sure. Yeah, I think, the thing that agency owners struggle with is obviously staff accountability, staff activity, visibility into what those activities are within the agency, and then accessibility. So especially nowadays, having systems accessible wherever they are, and having that being easy to access wherever you're at. So with Lightspeed Voice, from the phone standpoint, there's a lot of VoIP solutions out there, of course, and they've all got their strengths and weaknesses. But at the core, the solutions we provide are going to be 80% of the way in line with all that, right? You're going to have your call recordings. You're going to be able to have a visual switchboard so you can see who's on the phone, who's not. You can see how many calls they're making inbound or making outbound, taking inbound, talk times, et cetera. Where we kind of take the extra step and really help agencies out is providing a customized solution for your particular agency, right? We're not a big box all-in-one type of deal. We provide a customized onboarding experience with a person that you'll get to know and love if you as a customer, to really understand what is going on in your office. Is everybody in the office, or do you have multiple locations, or people working remote? Because you're dealing with multiple networks now, right? So it used to be we would set up an office network, and that's great. Now we find ourselves in many cases we're working with people at their home. They need the soft phone solution on their cell phone. It's becoming much more complex, just from the setup standpoint. So that's where we really shine. And then visibility. The call recordings are a big piece. E&O wise, and then kind of the final piece of the puzzle is that integration side of things. So it just piggybacks on the accessibility. So we want obviously people driving through our solution, triggering the phone calls, the texts, and the emails, depending on the path. But you want those things represented within your AMS or your CRM, whatever other technologies you're using. So we really strive to integrate with all of those technologies out there, and we pretty much do right now. And if not, it's probably in the works. So we just want that ability to track everything, and visibility is huge.
All right. So I'm going to take this from an agent standpoint, and then from an agency leader standpoint, and then from an investor standpoint.
Yep.
So from an agent standpoint, I want my staff to really be in one place. I don't want them to have 9 tabs. I don't want them to have to click around.
Yep.
So the integration with my agency management system, for those of you that don't know what an AMS is, I don't know why you're on this call if you don't know what an AMS is, but for those of you that don't know what an AMS is, it's agency management system. So how do you integrate? When you say you integrate with an agency management system, can we touch on that first, and then I'll go to the other 2 pods?
Absolutely. So most of the time what we'll try and do is 3 core features. The first one is an inbound screen pop. So as the phone call comes in, that customer's record would pop up within the AMS. So now you're not having the search in there, et cetera. It pops right up for you. You have that conversation, and then upon completion of the call, the duration of that call, who answered it, who called, as well as a link to the call recording would be inserted into the AMS. So
wow, directly inside that customer's record, right? Absolutely. Into the agency management system.
Yep. And it's, it differs on each one. Certain AMSs we're able to do all that with. Some we can only do the screen pop. So it does differ, but most of them that we have provide those 3 features. So now, they call back in 3 months, you can see who the last person called. If you're making an outbound call for a renewal follow-up, for example, or a policy review, and you just want to check on that last call, like anything you can pick up on that would help you in that next call. That would be right there. So you don't have to, go digging through Lightspeed Voice's platform. It would be there. You could find it there, but ideally you want to be in that solution. And the cool thing is, and I think you might be heading this way, so apologize if I jump in. Go ahead. If they do have a CRM, which is that customer relationship management system, some agencies will have that for their sales folks, and then the AMS for their service. There's really different ways to accomplish all that, but we integrate with most of those on the CRM side as well. And if your salespeople could use the integration to go to the CRM, the service people, or however it could go to the AMS. So we are flexible that way. I can't do both, unfortunately, because it's the APIs can only go that one path. But if you do have that model of just straight, I've got these guys dialing all day, they're working leads, we can work with that. If you've got the all-in-one model, we can work with that as well.
Well, if they're listening to me, their AMS and their CRM should communicate with each other anyway.
Totally.
Guys, I cannot stress the importance of that interlocking connection between all of your systems. In 1980, we didn't have that.
Yeah.
But now we do. So for these agents that are out here that's got, I'm on, and I'm not dogging any one company out, but I'm on HubSpot for this that doesn't communicate with anything in the insurance industry. And then I'm using this over here for this, and then I'm using this over here for this, and none of them talk to each other. My people have to go to each one of them and put notes. Come on, guys, it's 2020 when we're recording this.
Yeah, and the good news is a lot of those technologies were very resistant against that communication between the systems. I think they're understanding now that the agencies demand it, and they're starting to open up their minds and their thoughts to get those AMSs and the CRMs talking together, which is only beneficial for everybody. And we'll, I always kind of say we're Switzerland. We'll work with any of these systems, and have had good success doing so.
Well, being a bully only works when you're not getting your butt kicked.
That's right.
Once you start getting your butt kicked, you're not a bully anymore.
That's right.
You're a former bully. And a lot of these AMSs are now former bullies because there's new technology that's out that's kicking their butt. And the difference is, and then let me just talk about this before we go to the next pots. The difference is the newer technologies are starting with the customer experience and building back to the technology,
Yep.
where most of the existing technologies started with technology
Yep.
and then said, you better learn how to use us. You better figure out how to use us.
Yeah, and that's just the pace of development these days. I mean, it's, even, I think I first met you in both of our Allstate days. I was in the Allstate technology organization for a while,
Yep.
and you're working on a 3-year roadmap for a technology solution where 3 years now is, might as well be 30 years, because if you're building something 3 years from now, it's not going to be relevant by the time that comes around. So,
But
yeah,
what is always relevant is if you start with the customer experience
100%.
first.
Yep.
That is always relevant. So agents, listen to what we're telling you. Don't go buy technology just to have technology, or shiny stuff just to have shiny stuff. I have agents every day that call me because part of our company is a chatbot development. We bought a chatbot company and we develop chatbots for our member and partner agencies. And they're always calling and saying, oh, I want a chatbot. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do with it? Well, I'm going to have it. I mean, all the other agents have a chatbot. Yeah, but those agents are starting with the customer and working their way back. You just want a chatbot to have a chatbot.
Yeah, you want the fancy thing on your website, right?
Yeah, so no, we're good on that. All right, so I understand from an agent standpoint. Now let's look at an agency leader standpoint. I want to track what's happening. I want to know my incoming calls, outgoing calls. I want to know if my people are actually engaged. Are they working? Are they working the campaigns that I've asked them to work? So from an agency leader standpoint, how does Lightspeed solve my problem?
Yep. Yeah. So what we've got, is a couple different ways. We'll provide kind of an easy to view leaderboard or dashboard where they can, literally at a glance, anybody can look and see who's on the phone, right? If I'm lit up green, I'm on the phone. If it's blue, it's ringing. If it's white, I'm not doing anything. And you can see how long each of those things are happening in real time. So, Billy's been on the phone for 22 minutes with Joe Smith. Steve's in idle for 30 minutes. So I got to figure out what he's going on. All those things are visually available to you. And, as the calls come in, you can see them ring in and see the workflow going. Then we provide much more detailed reporting. So if I wanted to do a daily report, a weekly report, monthly, as I do my employee reviews, et cetera, I can drill down on each employee. For certain times, I can do it by ring group, for example. So if I do have a sales and service model, I can, my service, my hold time is going to be a bigger concern if people are holding for service, that kind of deal. So we provide, there's really 6 kind of main dashboard reports that you can see. And then, as far as drilling down, it's really, I don't want to say infinite, but it's almost infinite as far as the combinations of reports you can pull, export, manage, et cetera. So the reporting is something that really shines on our side. And it just provides, the visual initial probably provides 80% of what people need all the time. The reporting is really where you're doing your reviews, et cetera.
Okay, got you. Now let's talk about the investor side. Investors are all about revenue. So if you're not generating revenue, if your task is not generating revenue, then you're wasting my time, you're wasting my investment. So from a revenue standpoint, how can you help me understand what my sales team, I know you kind of touched on it, how can you help me understand if my sales team is working campaigns that I want them to work, if they are really following up using maybe I put out a roadmap that says you got to follow up every day for 3 days and then do this or whatever. Yeah. How can you help me in that regard?
Yeah. So the nice thing is we do have a sales automation aspect to our solution where you can trigger plans, as we call them. They're basically workflows. And, if I were an investor that had an immense amount of knowledge in that space and I have a certain contact strategy I want to implement, I can implement that directly through our solution. I want to call them, on day 1, I want to text them on day 3, emails on day 5 and 15, whatever the case is, I can stagger all those out. As the leads come in, you can see how those lead sources are being successful or not, what plans are working versus others, et cetera. So you can really kind of get the hawk's eye view of what's working, what's not, who's working, who's not. And again, we do have some leaderboards in that space, so you can see who's got the most leads going, who's closing them, et cetera. So there is a lot of ability to track that, and really, we even provide some defaults, but an agency owner or that next level investor, if you're looking to drive those contact strategies, we could build those out on your behalf or show you how to do them and adjust them accordingly.
Yeah, as an investor, that's really important to me, because I know, I've been in the 16 years. Like you said, we met at Allstate. So I've been in the 16 years. I know that they're just best practices, follow-up best practices, outreach best practices, text messaging best practices. I know they're there. So the fact that you give me the ability to create that workflow or create that plan, now I don't have to worry about it. I have this saying that I say almost every day now, and I stole it from one of my folks. So let me give Eric Garcia his credit on this. I stole it from Eric. We were talking one day, and we were just talking about processes and people and all these other things, and I was fussing at him and saying, da, 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 da. And he was like, Billy, are you telling me that my processes need to be stronger than my people? That was just like one of those moments. It was like, yes. And so agents, it's true. The reason why you use technology, the reason why you do all these other things is so that your processes are stronger than your people. If they are, even when your people leave, you can always fit a new person into a great process.
Totally. Yeah. And especially in the insurance agency business, right? I mean, the staff turnover is a constant struggle, right?
They're hopping from agency to agency for a bigger hourly pay.
Totally. Yeah. So it's that repeatable process is huge. And, having the call recording and activity recording back into the system of choice is really critical as well. So that if something did go wrong, or, not that it's ever happened before, but maybe they're poaching clients, something like that. You've got the ability to backtrack on some stuff. So
very, very nice. All right. So pets, phone, email, text, social networking. Let's talk about that.
Yep.
How do you touch my pets? No. How do you touch on the areas of pets?
Yep. So we're really strong at pet. The social media stuff I'm sure I can come up with a crafty way to say we do it, but we really don't.
I got you.
But on the phone, email, and text, I mean, that's the core of our business, right? So the phone, I think, is, just to make sure, I kind of always assume that people have this, inert knowledge, but I just want to make sure I cover it. So phones wise, obviously, we want to make it easy. We provide click to dial, outbound click to dial. We provide that inbound screen pop on the phones. We have a dialer. So, as you log in the morning and you've got 10 people to call, you just engage the dialer. We don't do auto dialing just from a compliance standpoint. It's something that we stay away from. I know other systems do it, and good for them. If, we just,
right. They want to take that risk. That's on them, right?
We're a conservative company and like to be that way. But we've got the dialer.
So what does that mean when you say you have the dialer? Does that mean that you click on it and then manually dial it, or you just click on it and dial one at a time?
Single click, one at a time. Yeah. So I would engage the dialer. I have my list of calls. I just click to make that call. That call hangs up. I click the next one. It's not just on repeat.
So you're doing 1-to-1 versus the 4-to-1 or 3-to-1 or all that other crap.
Gotcha. Yeah. And we do have voicemail drop. We just don't have the ringless voicemail drop. I know there's a couple solutions out there that do that, where literally, you're on your cell phone and you just get an alert they have a voicemail with no call. Again, something we just choose not to do. But we do have that. Obviously, voicemail to email, so you'll get your email notifications.
So voicemail. So I want to make sure we're real clear, because again, remember, I'm the dumbest person in the room. So if I get it, I know everybody else has it. So on the voicemail, this is a pre-recorded voicemail. Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah. So basically, you've got the voicemail in the can. You dial. All of a sudden, it says, "Hey, it's Joe. I'm not here. Leave me a message." You just click a button. So you're not sitting there every time having to repeat that. What we don't do is, before you call, engage that voicemail.
Gotcha. Well, just that is going to eliminate a lot of problems, a lot of the issues. Okay.
Yep. Email wise, as part of our sales and automation tool, we've got those, pre-configured emails. You can create templates. We can help you create templates. And those are scheduled out. And then of course, and you can see the back and forth. And then texting is a big part of what we do as well. Again, you can set those automated texts, or, as texts come into the agency, we have our interface where you can see them, and it's got a nice, and some of these things, I'll just kind of draw the distinction. So if some people have seen just the Lightspeed Voice platform, some of the stuff they might not be connecting with, but we do have, up until now, it's been called the follow-up tool, which is our sales automation application. As of a month from now, those two will actually be combined into one package. So as I say this, right now, it would technically be two solutions. And, if it was 6 months from now, I wouldn't talk about it as much as I am, but it's
Gotcha.
4 weeks away. It'll be combined, and it's a much more modern interface. And we're pretty excited about that. But yeah, it's texting wise, inbound, outbound scheduled texts. You just use it like an instant messenger on your computer. You can, engage it on your cell phone as well once we get this new product out. So yeah, and then the social, we don't necessarily dabble in that.
It's not your thing. You don't need to be everything to everybody, right? But I understand you do have a new deliverable that's going to be coming out here soon, which is the video part of this. Can you touch on that a little bit for me?
Absolutely, yeah. So appreciate that. So we, as things evolve, there's a lot of video conferencing solutions out there. We're on one now, right? So, we just kind of are reacting to that environment. People are, truthfully expecting the VoIP solutions to include that now. So in a similar time frame to this new platform, we will have our own video conferencing solution where, typically what you're used to, it'll have the ability to schedule meetings. You can do instant meetings. There's really three kind of cool things that it'll include that some of the other ones don't out of the box. One will be the document sharing option. So if I'm on, let's say we were chatting right now, and I was, a prospect, you could actually send me the application via the conferencing solution, and then we could actually engage the document signing process where within the video conference platform, you'll be able to sign those documents digitally. And one of the cool things that we're doing is and we really kind of tried to take it from the business owner standpoint, agency owner standpoint. So that document sign, document share really takes the next level. And then we actually are going to have a spot you'll kind of see it on the right side of your screen as we roll this out. There'll be a custom content spot. So you can actually advertise your agency, advertise your products, potentially put a web form in there, do some different things. So as you're on calls, you can still even cross promote other products in a kind of cool way. So, trying to do some stuff where it's not just strictly an out of the box solution. And we expect that, mid-September as well. September is going to be a crazy month for us in a good way. We've got a true mobile app coming out, and then looking at the video conferencing as well as this new platform. So exciting times.
So here's my final question, and I don't mean to just hit you out of the dark with this, but this is something I'm always thinking about. I've got my CRM that does all of this fancy stuff, I've got my AMS that's now starting to do all this fancy stuff. I've got my phone system that's starting to do all this fancy stuff. How the hell do I know where to go to do all this fancy stuff?
That's a great question. It's something that I struggle with on a daily basis, right? So what we're really trying to do, there's a valid use case for an AMS, a CRM, the VoIP solution, and you have your raters, all those kinds of things. And there are some people chasing that kind of overarching all in one, I'm going to do everything for everybody deal. And, while we want to provide as much of a, combined solution as possible, we are not trying to solve everybody's problems, and we want to, so we can cater it. That goes back to that whole customized piece. We can cater it. If you just want our phone solution, we can provide that. If you do want that additional layer of sales automation, we can provide that. But what we want to do is make sure we talk to all the other systems that you're using. So regardless of how you're set up, we'll be able to be that advisor and partner for you for that agency. But Yeah, it's a great question, and I think it's the hottest question out there in the insurtech space right now. Is where does this all end, right? And I'm a
Right.
specialist guy. I feel like the core agency management systems are great at that, and I always and I don't want to harp too much back on the Allstate world, but I was on the e-agent team for 12 years, from the time.
You were on before eAgent though.
Yeah,
Weren't
so
you on?
eBridge, yeah. So I
Okay.
was with eBridge, Allstate bought eAgent. I went along with the acquisition, but I always said the householding is always the challenge in that space, right? So as some of these CRM solutions that are really good in the lead space, all of a sudden people are going to want to start tackling that householding deal, and I always say, and if it was easy, someone would already be doing it,
Right.
and a lot of brilliant people working towards it. But those that are using a CRM and they've got kick-ass processes and everything is humming, I'm not here to mess with that, right? I want to say, hey, let's get you on our phone solution. We'll integrate with that system, and we don't want to disrupt stuff. If you got people that need it all, we'll do it all. So we do try and provide that.
Got you.
Enough of a solution if you want to just, and we're not going to do the, downloads and all that kind of jazz either. So yeah, I mean, we just try and, like I said, you want strictly an awesome phone system, we're here for you. If you want to put that layer of sales automation, even better. If you want us to work with the other solutions, that's where we shine. So,
right. But my problem that I run into are the agents that literally have everything, like everything. And then I'll ask their staff, because I don't talk to the agent about the operations. I talk to the staff because they're the end user. And I'll say, okay, staff, here's my endorsement process.
Yep.
How would you do this in your technology? They go, oh my God, I could go here, or I could go here, or I could go here. And I go, but where do you go? And they go, well, right now I'm not really going anywhere because I really don't know where to go.
Yep.
So agents, understand something. Each piece of technology is an employee. Okay, it's an employee. So you have two types of employees in your agency. You have human employees and you have technology employees. So get rid of the titles and say, I got two employees. If those employees don't like each other, if those employees won't go to the break room together, if those employees won't hand off data and information and projects to each other, you're going to have hell in your agency. It's the same thing. So now put the titles back on. You have technology employee and human employees that don't talk to each other, that don't like each other, that won't deal with each other, or that are doing the exact same job. And so this one's pissed off because this thing's doing my job, and this one's upset because this thing's doing my job. And so none of the jobs get done. Guys, know what your processes are. You know how I said earlier, start with your customer journey and work your way back to technology. Same thing here. Start with what is best for the customer, work your way back through your staff, and then go to your technology. And if you do it that way, when you pick Lightspeed, it'll make a lot of sense. I picked them because we had a need to pick them. Not just, oh, they're shiny, they're cute. And I'm seeing a lot of these new shiny, cute pieces of technology out here, and they do a lot of stuff, but none of that stuff lines up with your culture. None of that stuff lines up with your processes. So now you're buying technology, trying to force a process. It's not the way it works. So, all right, Steve, I promise you a certain amount of time. I don't want to go over that. How do we get in touch with Lightspeed? How do we get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So obviously, lightspeedvoice.com has as much information as you need out there. Easiest phone number to remember if you want to chat with us is 877-97-VOICE. And I'm always happy.
Can you do that one more time? Can you say that one more time for me?
Absolutely. 877-97-VOICE. And then I'm SMOHR@lightspeedvoice.com. Don't hesitate to reach out. I love it. And, the more I talk to people, the more I learn and the more I can help. So great stuff, and appreciate it, Billy. Got some great nuggets, and I'll give you credit when I steal them all. It's fine.
Oh, no problem. Hey, I steal them too. I just try to give people credit. So I got you. Absolutely.